Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. In one of the many lively discussions that came up during the recent friendly game between Jamaica's Reggae girls and their South African counterparts, which was played at the Montego Bay Stadium in St. James, one of the arguments that generated significant discussions was who was the most skillful footballer that Cornwall College has produced. With most of the persons engaged in the argument either in their early 50s or below, the arguments were heavily biased towards players who came to the fore in the 80s and 90s. So players from the era of Steve Buckner, Ali McNabb and Bill Griffiths, who figured prominently in Cornwall College's 1963 Costa Cup win, did not factor in the discussions as they had stopped playing before some of the persons in the discussions were even born. Among the names that came up were Sky Ferguson from the 1970s, Sertan Pele Thompson and Anthony Tuffy Barnes of the 1980s, and the likes of Delta Ninja Clark and Adrian Squash Spence of recent vintage. However, the man who seems to have gotten the most ratings was Milton Griffiths, who enjoyed an exceptional schoolboy career before moving on to dominate in the National Premier League and in the games he played for Jamaica. Having seen Griffiths parading his skills out of midfield at both the schoolboy and the club level, I must admit he was an exceptional player. I am sure that many of the defenders who ran in on him during his playing days must now be harboring some unpleasant memories of what he did to them. I am sure many of the persons who saw him in action playing college football in the United States and pro football in Germany alongside his games here in Jamaica, especially at Harbourview, will no doubt agree with the Cornwall fans that he was an exceptionally skillful player who gave them a lot of enjoyment. After I left the game at the Catchnall Stadium, I began thinking of some of the exceptionally gifted players I would have seen on the Costa Cup football circuit here in Western Jamaica. In placing the players by their schools, I came up with this list. Topping the list is St. Elizabeth Technical High School's Noel Sweetie Smith. He was all magic, and if he was born in Brazil, I am sure he would have been numbered among the greats, as he could do things with the ball which other people could only imagine. Out of my old school William Nib, I have to mention Chiwali De Silva, who was popularly referred to as Charlie. While he was predominantly a left-footed player, he was very balanced on the pitch. He could turn on a dime and cut a defender to pieces as he weaved magic with his deft touches. I am absolutely convinced that if he had stayed in Jamaica, he probably would have been holding a position of pride among our local legends. Another predominantly left-footed player that caught my eye was Ricardo Morris, who represented St. James High School and was a part of the 2005 winning the Costa Cup team. He was a player with a bag of tricks who regularly make a fool of defenders, as he could be going full speed in one direction and with one twist or turn of his body, he would change course, leaving the defenders to tackle empty space. It was not surprising to me that he was drafted into the national team immediately after leaving school. Another player I had a lot of time for was Mian Agla Scarlett, who was a member of the 1986 Herbert Morrison team that won the Costa Cup. He was a player with blinding speed, but what made him so special was his step-over skills. He was able to step over the ball moving at full speed, which sometimes caused defenders to tumble over backwards. It is a pity that he disappeared from the football circuit after he left school. I have definitely left the stars of Rosies for last, because two of my favorite magicians are past players of Rosies. The first person I am going to name is Kenneth Blacks Gaynor, and I might be a little biased here because I coached Gaynor as a youngster at St. James High School, and he was one of the persons who gave me the first trophy I ever won as a coach when the St. James team defeated Kingston and St. Andrew 4-0 at the National Stadium, and he scored 3 of the 4 goals. Gaynor was a player who developed complete mastery over the football. He could control with his chest, with his head, with his shoulder, you name it. Regardless of how tight the space was, Gaynor was able to control the ball, turn, and then did magic with his feet. I am sure many of the defenders he faced in the 1983 Costa Cup season went home with a headache to have a nightmare after seeing unadulterated magic from close range. Donald Hewitt was another master at controlling the ball. His close skills were exceptional. Once he took control of the ball, there was no way a defender was going to get it from him. And to cap it off, his passes were of immaculate quality. And not being goal shy, he was a prolific goal scorer. Like Gaynor, he pretty much walked out of high school football into the national team. And his exploits at Reno Football Club has made him a legend of Westmoreland's football. I am sure I would have missed a couple of very skillful players in my recollections, so my subscribers are welcome to provide me with some of those names. For my Kingston friends who have always been asking me why I only focus on footballers from the West, in my time in the East, I did see players like Errol Blake, Donovan Che Ray, Leonard Teacher Hyde, the brilliant Ron Palmer, mesmerizing Andrew Tapazuki Sinclair, and the ultimate magician Dennis Denden Hutchinson. I know that you, the subscribers, will have your own list of stars as well, and you are welcome to let me know about them. But as far as I am concerned, sometimes I wish the current generation of young people had gotten a chance to see some of these brilliant stars in their prime. But I am only too happy to share these unforgettable memories. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freitas. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.